write your name on a sticky and leave it on the feedback wall, and we will connect with you to see if you would like to be an emerging speaker for next year's part.
All right. Directly ties around the participation of this questionnaire. Because what this actually does is it will bring all of you guys together. Okay? So I'll just give you guys a couple moments to identify that. And while this is going on, I'm just going to talk a little bit about myself. So, many years ago in a previous life, I started my career as a teacher. And to really build on, some of the wonderful speakers that we've had already, this is kind of a really good thing for me. Being able to stand behind Lauren with regards to this presentation. Being able to build upon what Vika has said about scratching an itch. This is my itch. This is something that I learned about more than 12 years ago. I presented it when I was teaching. I've talked about this in the past. And then when I decided to go into my Agile journey, I really wanted to bring this in and bring what I've learned about multiple intelligence theory, bring that into an Agile environment or bringing it into a team environment. Are we good to start? Yeah? Okay. I'm going to be respectful of time, I'm going to walk through this, and about halfway is when I actually get to reveal the data. Okay? So this is really introducing multiple intelligence theory and how we can bring this into an Agile environment. If a seed of lettuce will not grow, we do not blame the lettuce. Instead, the fault lies with us for not having nourished the seed properly. When I was in university, one of my university professors compiled a book of famous quotes. And this particular quote really resonated with me. And as a teacher, it really resonated with me. As a Scrum Master and working with teams, it really resonated with me. And as I became an Agile coach, it really resonated with me. And it's a Buddhist proverb. So the big question is, what is multiple intelligence theory? Really, it is all about the different ways of how we process information. Okay? This was developed in 1985 by a Harvard University professor of psychology by the name of Dr. Howard Gardner. He became very critical on the IQ tests that are happening in the United States. And he actually determined that the IQ test is actually really not a good measurement of a person's intelligence. Because really, what does multiple intelligence, or what does the IQ test do? We're actually we're reading the test, we're solving a bunch of mathematical problems, we're looking at differences between objects and shapes and things like that. So it really didn't really fully embrace what we think as intelligence. So what is intelligence as Dr. Gardner defines? It is the capacity to solve problems or fashion products that are valued in one or more cultural setting. Okay, this is kind of a bit of a different way of looking at what intelligence is. This is kind of cool stuff. By the way, this is really prominent in schools and in learning environments within like school boards and things like that. When we're actually out into the business world, it almost doesn't exist. There's very few people that actually are familiar with this. So, by understanding what this... Yeah, okay. So, how is this going to be able to help? So, by understanding this, we're actually going to be able to learn a little bit more about the diversity among each other. So, who works on teams? Who works with teams? Do you guys know how each and every one of the people that you work with learn and process information? Maybe not. Okay, so what this actually can do is, this can be used as a tool to help recognize diversity amongst your team. And it also will help build deeper understandings amongst each other. Okay? So we have a bunch of, I know this is a change conference, but like this actually comes, Agile does actually really involve a lot of change. And the individuals and interactions in the Agile manifesto really deepens on how we build that understanding with each other. Okay, I got a bunch of memes up. I'm hoping somebody who knows who this is, or what this is. Dilbert, yeah. So, give you an idea of different types of businesses and stuff like that. So, what Dr. Gardner does is he's initially identified 8 intelligences. And these are the 8 intelligences that he identified. Later in his career, he identified a couple more, but I really wanted to focus on these 8 because these are the ones that are the most prominent. Okay, so we start off with body smart, people smart, word smart, logic smart, nature smart, self smart, picture smart, and music smart. And I'll actually go into a little bit of detail as we progress on that. All right. Ooh. I should have had a look at these beforehand. So word smart, verbal linguistic. So verbal linguistics intelligence talks about how we understand and process words, documents, and things like that. Really, people are typically good at memorizing, who are predominantly word smart. They memorize things. And they like to read, write, and tell stories. Okay? What's this? Scrabble. I'm trying to make this a little bit more participative, guys. Okay. Body smart. The ability to use the body physically to express ideas, feelings, and even solve problems. People who are body smart like to move around, touch things, communicate using body language. And who is the person that's up on the screen? Arnold. Does anybody know where this comes from? Saturday Night Live. And it's Hans and Franz. We're here to pump you up. Picture smart. This is actually one of the areas that I'm actually one of my dominant intelligences. Okay, this is really cool where you'll be able to recognize form, space, depth, and you're going to be able to recognize patterns, visually represent things. Geographers actually fall really within this. My colleague that I was going to be presenting this at a previous conference was very closely involved in geospatial surveys and things like that, and being able to understand how maps can relate to the land, the ground that we're actually working on. So people, picture smart, like to draw, build, design pictures, paint, likes to watch movies, play with machines. And who is... I know Sue seems to recognize who it is. Bob Ross. And what makes Bob Ross kind of famous? He's happy looking clouds, and when he's like painting trees, he always gets that zip. He gets the sound effects going. Music smart, the ability to recognize rhythm and understand pitch and melody. People who are predominantly music smart, like to listen to music, can play a musical instrument, and can respond actually emotionally to music. Who is this? Yo-Yo Ma. Okay, this one, so for the outer-towners, you guys may not be able to recognize who it is. But nature smart, the ability to recognize, classify plants, minerals and animals. People who are nature smart, like to be outside, working with geography, that kind of thing. Now, our local people. Does anybody recognize who this is? Frankie Flowers. And where is Frankie Flowers from? CP24 Breakfast Television. So he's Frankie Flowers. He's the plant guy that talks about all the flowers and stuff in Toronto on TV, but he's also the local weather announcer as well. Nate, self-smart. So the ability to recognize your interpersonal feelings. So understand yourself, being able to recognize similarities within yourself. People who are self-smart like to be alone, like to reflect, like to spend some time working on pursuing their own interests. Who's this guy? Stuart Smalley from SNL. Yeah. An easy one. This is an easy one. People smart. The ability to work with people, understand other people's feelings, being able to react to visual stimulus of what's going on. Interpersonal, people, smart people, they like to have lots of friends, talk to people, like to be in big groups. And we all know who this guy is. And I think he very much represents a very strong interpersonal relationship, just by the nature of what he does, or where he was just a short time ago. Logical smart, or number reasoning smart. The ability to effectively use numbers, apply reasoning, get a good understanding of patterns, recognize outcomes, and things like that. Like to run experiments, figure things out, working with numbers, ask questions, explore mathematical relationships. Who's this? Isaac Newton. Yeah. Okay, so I'm hoping everybody has taken the time to do the assessment. This is interesting. This is very interesting. This is you. This is you. What do you think this tells you guys? Pretty balanced. Generally naturalistic. Sits pretty little bit lower. Multi-talented. Yeah, we got a great bunch of people here. Great bunch of people. So the blue is the average. The top is the maximum, and we have some low. So we got maybe one person that's probably one or two people that are not too interested in music. Got quite a few people that are. We've got some people that are interested in music, and also very all interpersonal. So the strongest, typically, from what I'm seeing, is interpersonal. Does that resonate? Does that resonate with you guys? We're a bunch of change agents. We're working with people. Pretty cool stuff. So this one, just another view of the same results. What? Okay, it's lying to me. There we go. So just a spider diagram, just to kind of give you a good idea of where we stand. Now, what does this all mean to you, and how can you apply this if you were to take this and go back to your companies and stuff like that? So at a personal level, it's going to give you a better understanding of yourself, right? It's going to help you understand on how you might actually process information and how you can better influence your learning needs. Okay? But when you're actually working at a team, you can help identify their needs. You can help identify what they might need when you're working with your team. Especially when you're in a change environment where you're actually coaching or you're actually helping people. This can be really helpful. This can be a really powerful tool to build upon, leverage. Okay? Another famous quote that I find really powerful, and from Winston Churchill: "To improve is to change, so too to be perfect is to have changed often." I think this really applies here with us. So I got to speed things up a little bit. Yeah. Oh, quite a bit. Okay, so verb. These are some tricks that we can actually do to actually help to improve. So the slides will be shared as we've been told, so you can actually go through this a little bit more detail as we progress. But word smart. So product requirement writing exercises, collaborative exercises where you're actually writing vision statements and actually getting hands-on working with that. Body smart. Warm-ups. Todd does a lot of warm-up activities. It's feeding to those people that are body smart. You know, one of the Agile trainers actually does this when he does his Scrum training. Mark Levinson, does anybody know who he is? A few people. What he does at the beginning of a Scrum training is he will say, if you guys come in late, I will do push-ups for every minute that everybody's late. And he does that. Break, lunchtime, and the break in the afternoon. He will actually do push-ups. And it kind of provides a bit of guilt feeling to the participants. But then again, you may be a bit of like to cause a bit of pain for Todd or for Mark. I don't know. Picture smart. Team drawing activities. Give them things where they can actually participate. Ellen is doing her note-taking through visual forms. Okay, those are kind of cool things that you can do with that. Project visioning, vision canvassing, those are kind of things that we can actually do. Music smart. This one I've actually done with. There's this one activity I've actually done with one of my teams that I worked with in the past. Is I had the team, I asked each person to give me 3 songs that represented them. And then every Friday, I would at random play one of the songs. And we would have to come up with, try to identify who sang the song, and B, who chose the song. And what that does is it helps build an understanding of each other. Okay? Nature smart. With Agile, we can have a retrospective outside. Go for a walk. Enjoy the trees. Participate in that. Encourage bringing plants into the office and looking after the plants. Self-smart. Allow for meditation time, scrapbooking. When you're working in a team environment, do you always have to be working with the team? Do you need to get involved, you may need to go off on your own and spend some me time. Interpersonal swarming activities, where we actually all huddle together and work on a single problem. Huddle collaboration, interpersonal team building. Pizza making, escape rooms, just fun stuff that you can actually do as a group together. Logical mathematical smarts, so looking in the diagnostics and the metrics is involved. Really understanding what a burn down chart is, or understanding software architecture, do that kind of stuff. Okay? So, in summary, multiple intelligence theory, what I'm trying to do is it provides you guys a set of tools that can help you better understand the people you work with. That's really the goal of what I'm here for. Okay? By leveraging this knowledge, I hope that you can build an understanding and appreciate some of the people that you're working with moving forward. How can you use this? So as a team member, by understanding the people that you're actually working with, you can actually get that better understanding. As a change agent, as a coach, you're going to get a better understanding of the teams that you're helping. And the coaches, as a coach itself, talking about the power of learning and building up that learning environment that you're working in. Questions? I know this is a little bit quick. Are there any questions?
So I'm a teacher and I teach little kids, so how can I use this with little kids? How can I get to know them and their learning with it?
So actually, when I was teaching, one of the classes that I worked with was working with a grade 5 class. They actually, the teacher would present the lesson and they would say, okay, what kind of smart did that identify? So if the teacher is sitting at the front of the class and teaching math, you say, okay guys, what kind of smart did we touch on today in this particular session? Oh, logical smart. Circle activities, things like that. I've seen it introduced in Alberta with the school board that I was working with at grade 5. So 10-year-old kids were catching on to this. Yeah.
Do you ever give this questionnaire to Agile teams, and have you ever had team members not want to participate? How do you handle that?
So I have piloted it with some teams. 2 of the teams that I worked with my previous company. I have not used it with the current organization that I'm working with. I have not felt that they're at a point where I want to go down that path just yet. But definitely, if the opportunity presents itself, I would definitely go down that path.
Does anybody ever refuse to participate, or how do you avoid that?
At the regional Scrum gathering, I did have a couple people that did not want to provide their email address as part of the assessment itself, and I just reassured them that the only reason why I'm asking to provide the email for the online assessment is so that you can actually get the data back to you. I do not share it. It's only for my own measurement, so I can actually refer that back to you guys. Everybody went along with that. But the handout that I've given you, this is where I actually got this assessment from. Okay, and I've literally run out of time. Okay. There's the references where I pulled off the material. My name's Stuart Oakley. I'm an Agile coach, and I work at CGI. And thank you very much.
All right, keep going for Stuart.
Just hang on.
Let's go one more.
So I am being. So as you guys may have known, I am being presented as an emerging speaker. This is actually my second presentation time of doing this kind of a presentation in this kind of an environment. So I am an emerging speaker. Off by the doors, there is 3 columns. So when you go on to the break, if you don't mind, just please provide some feedback on that. There's post-it notes on the table. If you want to actually provide some written feedback, I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Give it up for Stuart again.